Hi there, it's me, Brett Fish, and I thought before we start looking at specific areas of race, a really good place to begin is to deal with how do we engage with these kind of conversations. So we're going to be looking at how to engage, and I think one place where white people tend to get this wrong is that we dive into race conversations on social media, and we rush in with our entitlement, with our need for people to know that we are not racist and know that we're right and get our say and our opinion and our thought. One of the biggest things that we can do and we need to do is to listen. And I think a great skill for all of us to learn is to listen without preparing a response. How often do you do that? And not just with race stuff. Somebody's speaking to you and they say something and it triggers something in your mind and you start thinking at how am I going to respond, or what question or what story does this relate to? And what it ends up being is that I've stopped listening to you. And so I need to learn to listen and not to listen with an intent to respond. What are you actually saying? What is the story that you're sharing? What is your opinion? What is the pain that might be coming through? What is the confusion? Where are thoughts being crossed over or mixed up or something like that? And once you finish speaking, then I can respond to what you've said, not respond to what I think you've said or what I thought you were going to say or my understanding of the situation. And so that is crucial, it is critical, and especially for us as white people, because typically we don't listen well. And so I would actually say those are the top 8 things on my 10-thing list that we need to learn to listen. We need to listen. We need to listen. We need to listen. And also we need to listen, 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 and listen. And one of the things we need to listen to is people's lived out experiences. Our thoughts, our opinions on a subject and a topic are not the same as someone's lived out experiences. We have a feeling on race. Somebody who is black has had to live that every day of their lives. They have stories of prejudice. They have experiences, things that have happened. We have ideas often about things, and we need to listen to people's lived out experiences. What has happened? How are you experiencing this? What pain are you feeling from this? Because that is how we'll start to understand the dynamics that are at play in the country, not by our opinions or ideas or theories or things like that, but what are people's lived out experiences. Once we have friends and we are in relationship with people and we are creating spaces where we can hear about their lived out experiences, that's when we're going to start to really learn. That's when we're going to start to understand. It's when we're going to start to really see people, and we are going to benefit a lot from that. I think our conversations are going to be able to get a lot more deeper, a lot more effective, a lot more real. And so really we need to listen to people's lived out experiences. The thing I'd put alongside that is to invite voices that are different than yours. And I'm not talking about the weird, crazy voices in your head, but for me, one of the most helpful things coming back to South Africa after being away for 3 years was realizing that the history that I'd learned when I came through school was not the most unbiased history around, and realizing that I needed to try and understand the past of South Africa through the lens of other people that had different lived experiences. And the most helpful book I've found is the book about Robert Sobukwe. It's called How Can Man Die Better? I think it's by Benjamin Pogrund. And it tells the story of a man whose wisdom and whose leadership, I think, South Africa was robbed of. If you do not know who Robert Sobukwe was, you need to turn this off right now. You need to find out before you dive into any further conversations on race. I think How Can Man Die Better should be compulsory reading for people that are trying to understand these things. I also read Steve Biko's I Write What I Like, Ankie Krog, Begging to be Black. There's various other books, but for me what really becomes helpful is inviting people who sound and think differently from me. As a white, male, middle-aged Christian person, I found that I tended to read things written by white, male, middle-aged Christians. And so for me, there was a change in commitment. I'm committing myself to, for the most part, reading books and podcasts and blogs and articles that are written by people of color, that are written by women, that are written by people with a different faith or culture background, because those are the ways that my mind is going to be challenged the most. Those are the ideas that are going to be probably the most different to mine, and perspectives that are different, that can help me see things differently. And so that is a huge thing. I want to encourage you, find some people of color who blog or who write articles and follow them. Start to understand, or start to try and understand what they're thinking and their perspective, and again, not with the idea of answering or giving a response or defending or attacking, whatever, but just to listen, just to hear, what do other people think? How are they seeing things? How is news being translated? Get your news from a source that is different to maybe what you're used to. And so inviting different voices, following people that are actively talking about these things, and then building relationship with people. And I think the last thing I would say is especially for us as white people, we really need to show some humility. Never expect, never state, or never believe that you have a complete understanding of somebody whose life is fundamentally different from yours. We need to be humble and realize that anytime I speak into a black person's life or a black person's situation or issue, I'm speaking with a certain, probably a huge amount of mist, of cloud, of not understanding. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to see it from their point of view. I'm trying to see it from their perspective. But that's not what I've lived out. And so I don't fully get it. So I need to be humble, and I need to arrive at the table wanting to learn, not wanting to teach, not wanting to dominate, not wanting my opinion to be heard. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be learned, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be unlearned. And as we do this, we are going to be able to start racing together. And so that's why the series is called Race With Me. And so my invitation to you today is to listen without the intent of responding, without planning your reply. Listen, really listen to what people are saying. So show some humility in the way you enter these conversations, and invite voices that are different to your own, to inform you, to educate you, to start to spark off ideas. And I guess a little PS, which is maybe the biggest thing, is that I believe every person in this country needs to start to learn the African black language that is most prevalent where they live. So for me as a Cape Townian, it is isiXhosa, and my isiXhosa is very bad, but Ndiyazamanoko, I'm learning, I'm trying. There's an app called Memrise, MEMRISE, you can get on your phone, where you can download a few words every day, and you can slowly start to build up vocab. As we build friendships with people, they will help us with sentences and structures and learning, but we have to learn a black language in this country, or an African black language in this country. We can't expect everyone to do these conversations in the language that suits us and is comfortable for us anymore. So please share this. If you found this helpful at all, share it with your friends, and let's do this together. Race with me.